Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to Shakti's Gift. I'm your host, Marigol Era, Ayurvedic wellness coach, creative force, and unschooling mother. For the past 4 years, I've been living my daily life according to Ayurvedic principles. Ayurveda, which means the science of life in Sanskrit, is a traditional system of medicine with roots in ancient India. It emphasizes a holistic approach to health by balancing the body, mind, and soul. It utilizes natural remedy, dietary guidelines, and lifestyle practices to promote well being and prevent illness. I just want to be real clear with you guys. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychologist, but I am very passionate about this human experience and I'm all about being as sovereign as possible in our health. In this podcast, we will not only talk about Ayurveda, we will also meet a lot of wonderful people who are driven by the Shakti's gift of creativity, transformational force, and feminine power. So you'll be in contact with a lot of amazing beings who are doing the work, they show up, even if it's freaking hard, and they evolve. Because that's what we do. Our human life is ever changing. It is our nature to birth and bury new ideas and projects and to follow the seasons of our lives. So I invite you to grab yourself something to drink, get yourself comfortable, and let's dive deep into Shakti's gift. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing marvelous today. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Shakti's Gift. I'm so excited to share with you this interview that I did a while back with Leisa Suastegui on the Divine Feminine. Leisa is an amazing, strong woman, an intimacy coach, and she works with the feminine and the masculine energy. Today is all about the feminine energy, but Leisa will be back with us to talk about the masculine energy. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna make another episode around the divine union of the feminine and the masculine energy. So stay tuned for that. Pretty soon, Leisa will be offering a workshop series that is called Undoing Your Un and Becoming the One, which is all about discovering your limiting belief, releasing them, and stepping into your true, authentic self. So, if that is something that interests you, I invite you to contact Leisa. All her links are listed down below. So feel free to just contact her to see what's up with that. So sit back, just enjoy this episode. Have a nice one. All right, so today we have Leisa Suastegui. And so, for those who were there for the Let's Create the Revolution part of this podcast, you may remember her. And for those who are new to this, well, she's amazing. She's a coach in like feminine energy, masculine energy, and all of that. And today we're going to dive really deep into the feminine one. So, you want to just like maybe introduce yourself a little bit more?
Sure, absolutely. Leisa Suastegui. I'm intuitive intimacy coach and healer. I help both masculine, feminine people heal, dip into their traumas. I also do Reiki healing and energy healing with people, just to get us back to our balanced state and living more from our heart, being able to open the heart back up to love and live in that place of love because we've unfortunately been out of it for so long. And it's what the world desperately needs right now. So that's what I do in a nutshell. There's lots of moving parts in there. But yeah, like Marigol said, today we're going to focus on the feminine energy. And it's a big one because
It's a big one.
we have a
And
huge part in this world right now. And actually, we're the focus of what's shifting right now. So absolutely, it's a huge topic.
it is. It is such a huge topic. Like, I thought it would be such a good idea to just really understand deeply, um, like your version, because I feel like there's always like multiple version,
Yes.
and so yeah. So let's hear about your version. Let's start with the wounded feminine energy. The
Feminine
wounded
energy. Yeah.
feminine energy. What does it
Yeah.
look like? How does it like show up?
Exactly. And we are talking about energies, so it can be encapsulated into both the male and female bodies, but we're specifically talking about women today. So just keep that in mind when we're going through all this. So the wounded feminine is like to encapsulate it. That's the side that's like needy and over giving and over sharing and needs that external validation and manipulative, stuck in victimhood. That these are all the sort of, you can feel that energy as I'm saying the words. That's the side. And trust me, I've been there and sometimes fall back into that too, because we've been through huge cycles of this for thousands of years, going through the whole patriarchal society and what society says we're supposed to be. So that's the wounded feminine. She's all about insecurity and need and just needing other people to validate her as opposed to being in her own energy. So that's sort of
Yeah.
the wounded side. I don't know if you can feel that energy. It's a pretty
Yes.
strong energy.
Like the victim is there so strongly. I
Yeah,
like the way you're saying about you're talking about the oversharing, because that's something we can I can relate to.
yeah,
Like I will just like blab when I'm not like I'm just gonna just share too much, and it's
right.
like I'm not nurturing my intimate space by doing that, you know, and
Yeah,
it's unappealing.
honoring yourself. Yeah, in that moment, exactly. And that's and there's no shame in it. We've all done it. It's recognizing it and going, okay, yeah, I'm oversharing now. They don't need to know that, and that's my private stuff, right? So oversharing, overgiving to the point where you have no energy left, but you still feel that need to, like, that's your validation. As long
Mm,
as I keep giving to people, then they'll love me. So I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm over giving to the point where I can't even give to myself anymore. And we all know
yeah.
you can't give from an empty cup. So that's the wounded feminine energy that we've been in for a very long time.
Yeah,
But
we see that
recognize,
as mother as well, you know, like when we start being mothers, like it's our duty, it's our role to give so much to our kids, right?
right.
Because they're so little and they cannot do anything. They're just like so small.
They absolutely, that's our main priority. However, having said that, you have to give to yourself. You can't give to the child if you're if you're in this state of just exhaustion.
Mm,
You cannot fully, you're not fully giving your love to these children. And as a society, I know from dealing with even for me with my children, if I took time to myself, I felt guilty.
mm.
I felt like I'm being selfish. This is horrible. How could I possibly take time for myself? But coming through the healing and realizing, no, I'm a much better mother, lover, wife, whatever, when I am giving to myself first. I am filling my cup first to the point of overflowing so that it can go to everybody else. But that's
Yeah.
not what we're raised to believe. We're
Oh
raised to
no.
believe that you're supposed to be the martyr and you're supposed to like everybody else first, you last. That's why we have so many, health issues with women now, because we're suppressing and making, we're not taking care of ourselves. Obviously we're starting to swing out of that now, which is so fantastic to see. I love seeing all these beautiful upcoming women who are just like, no, I need time for me. So if that means you
Yeah.
have to get a babysitter, hopefully your partner is supportive with you in that. And they're going to say, you know what? I honor you and I respect you. And I'm going to take the children, even for Mother's Day. Like, please just get the kids out of the house and give her the house to herself, or let her go have a spa day somewhere.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that let her go out into nature for a weekend. Let her do whatever she needs to do to fill her cup back up. Because when she
Yeah.
comes back, holy, will she ever have to give, right? So that's
It's
that's
it's
where we want to go
yeah, it's
into
so
the healing.
crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy how like we're so conditioned. I remember when I first got my first baby, and I have like a person in my family that was she was telling me, when you have kids, whether you have two choice, so whether you eat your food cold or you don't eat.
Yeah,
And it was like so absurd for me. It was like, why? Like, why should I suffer just
right.
because I have like it's that conditioning of you put your kid first, and it's
Yeah,
like it's the survival mode. Of course we're gonna put our kids first at the beginning, and then we have to learn like the very beginning, like they need so much attention, right?
yes, Yes.
And our needs to sleep, like we say, we sleep while the baby sleeps, and to take that moment, to be connected with your kids so that you can like rest at the same time they do, so that
Yes.
you can fill your own cup and be really connected with them. But then
Yeah.
when they grow up, sometimes I don't know. We feel like it feels like we fall into a trap of like just keep doing that, keep giving them so much, but they're growing up and they don't need that as much.
Yeah.
But we're like just like in that loop of like giving, 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 giving,
Maybe. Yeah.
giving, and then we just like burn out.
I'll tell you, here's a story for you. People who didn't see the first episode won't know that I actually lived in Mexico for quite a while, and different culture down there. And the women, especially new mothers, are very supported down there, which is I
Mm,
love seeing it. However, that wasn't where I came from. I gave birth to my first son in Canada, and here it's like you don't have a lot of family support in that way, whereas you are raising your child. And
yeah.
usually your partner, man or woman, whoever, someone has to go out and earn a living. So here I am with this newborn child. He was colicky, so he did not stop crying.
Mm.
I was having breastfeeding issues, like huge breastfeeding. So I had one of those giant industrial pumps. I felt like a cow at the barn, like bring Bessie to the barn. Here we go. And I would literally fall asleep with it on my boobs. I was that tired. And so I was told like the baby needs to feed every 3 hours, and I had to pump every 2 hours, and it took me an hour to clean that. So I was not sleeping for like the first
Right.
6 months. And you want to talk about being drained and not of value to anyone. I couldn't even enjoy the baby
Yeah.
because I was doing all this. And my husband wouldn't get home until like 1 a.m. And he would see me on the couch, literally with his machines attached to me still. And I'm asleep, and the baby's asleep beside me, and he's like, okay, I'll take the baby into the other room. I'm like, you think? Yes, you will take the baby into the other room. So after months and months of this, we ended up going down to Mexico when my son was, I think he was like 11 months old. He wasn't quite a year yet. He was already walking at 9 months. So I had a handful, and I looked like crap. Let's just be honest. I hadn't taken care of myself. There was no way I was exercising to try and lose the extra weight, which is always a big concern of ours, right?
Mm.
And we went to stay with a family who had also a 6-month-old baby. Here's the difference. We were staying in a very small apartment. I think it had 3 bedrooms. In that apartment was me, my husband, and our baby. His friend with the wife and their baby. Her mom, his mom, the brother, and a German Shepherd. That's a lot of people. However, the other woman who had the baby, and she was in her, I think, her early 20s at that time, had 2 grandmothers there to support her.
Mm.
So she would get up in the morning. The baby was already up, had already been fed because she had bottled her milk, right? So she got to get up, have her shower in peace, come downstairs. Someone had made her breakfast for her. She got to spend a little time with the baby bonding. And then she'd get dressed and she'd go out to work while the grandmothers took care of the baby. And then down there, of course, midday, they have their siesta. So they come home and they get to rest. So her and her husband would trot upstairs and have their alone time. Someone else is still taking care of the baby for her. Then she come back downstairs. Her dinner was made for her. Like there is a different pattern happening here, right? So she was all flowy and glowing and just like happy with life and and here I am just
Oh.
like, can someone just take the baby for 5 minutes, please? And even in asking that, here we go back to the guilt. I felt guilty for asking for that time for myself.
Yeah.
So women out there, please, that if anything comes out of this, you need to know you are the most important person in this circle of energy that's going around. You cannot give to your child or to your partner if you're not taking care of yourself first. So do not be afraid, do not be ashamed or guilt ridden. Don't let anybody guilt you about asking for you time, because you need it. You can't thrive without it, nor can the baby, right?
That
So
is so true.
it's
That is
so true.
so true. You know, I was so blessed for my first baby because I was surrounded with family. They weren't living with me, but they were cooking stuff for me and they were inviting me for supper or something, you know, like,
Yeah,
and I had like, it was so fun. It was like traveling with my baby. I was like always at, like, I have a calendar of all the days, and every day I was like writing down where I was. And no, like there's like the calendar is filled up with like
right.
I was at my grandmother and I at my aunt and my sister and my father and you know that friend, and like my brother came to cook something for me, or you know, like
Oh,
there was like always somebody around me that was like taking care of the meals, you know. And
right.
so I didn't have to do that, and so I was breastfeeding. And so the whole like first year or so, when she started to eat, it was like, I don't know, she was like around 6 months or something, so she started to eat something, but I was still breastfeeding her. And so it was just so easy, you
Yeah,
know, it was
yeah,
just so easy to have all of those people to just like sit and they want to just grab the baby because it's so healing to have a
right.
baby on you. And so they're like, give me that baby. You know, it's like,
No.
yes, take it. That's like amazing. That is so
Yeah,
cool. Let's have a conversation, you know, and yes, take care of my baby. And so she was socialized so much. Like it was just so fun and so
yeah,
light. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool to be a mother. It's so easy, you know?
yeah.
It was easy because I had this support
Support.
system,
Huge.
which
And
I
that's
didn't
huge.
have for my second one. And it was hell. It was
Yeah,
hell
right.
on earth. Like,
Yeah.
this is what it is,
This
plain and simple, like hell on earth. Like,
right.
it was just like, and I can see the difference in my own experience, you know, to be alone with my baby and another kid,
Yeah. Oh,
to be by myself, you know, with a baby that doesn't sleep at all, and to be like having to deal with everything. My husband was working, he was never there, you know, and you're
yeah.
like that solo parenting, even though you're in a relationship, you know,
Yep.
and you do everything. And it was just like so painful. And I was like so sad and so depressed. And I was
Yeah.
like, why is this like that, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And that's when we start getting into those feelings too of like, so, well, especially on the really down days, you're like, oh, is this my life? Is this the way it's
Yes.
going to be? Because I don't think I can get through this. And
Right.
there's a little bit of resentment that goes on.
Yes.
And, hopefully, I know a lot of people do not have supportive partners, and that's when it becomes very difficult, especially in the first months when you're also probably dealing with your depression just from the whole pregnancy and you're having your
Mm-hmm.
postpartum going on. It is so important to have that support. No, they don't have to live with you. But like you said, they come around, they offer your help, they come and they pick up the baby and they let you go do your thing. And so you can relax and whatever. So important to have that support system. And this is a conversation that doesn't generally get had before you even get pregnant. Like, how is this going to work after I have the baby?
Right.
What support system am I going to have? It's so important to have.
It is
And
so crucial.
we we get into the guilt mode of like, well, everybody else just done it by themselves. Am I just weak? Am I not capable of being a good mother because I can't handle it on my own? No, it's just because that's the way it was doesn't mean that that's the way it should be,
That's the
nor does it mean.
wounded, and that's the wounded feminine right
Yeah,
there. That's
yeah,
showing up saying, I have to do it by myself.
yeah,
I have to be strong. And you feel kind of forced to do it all by yourself because it's unnatural to do
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. You don't want to talk to other women about it because you feel like you're going to be judged, which,
Yes.
trust me, as you know, all of us women who've had babies, we get it. We
We
know.
do.
We've been there. We know all the emotions that are going to go through your head, right? Like we've
Right?
been through it. So there's nothing anybody's going to say to me that's going to make me like, well, I don't judge people anyways. But if a mother comes to me and says, oh my God, I'm exhausted, I'm starting to almost dislike my child. And I'm like, that's
Hmm.
totally normal.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? If it was an adult doing this to you, you would flat out not like them. So just because it's a baby, and they have a lot of needs and if your needs aren't getting met, it just is a spiral, right? It just keeps
It
flowing that way.
is. It
So
is.
Yeah. So that's, of course, we got way off topic there. And you were talking about
No, I mean
having,
it's right on
yeah,
topic because the wounded feminine will show up like that, you know?
yeah,
It will show up
absolutely. Like,
exactly like that. And now we're talking about motherhood, but it's the same with
yeah.
like relationship. If you're in that loving relationship, couple relationship with another person and you're in that needy state of mind and where you don't take care of yourself and you put everything onto like the other person to take care of yourself or whatever, you know, it's the same thing, you know,
Yeah.
it just show ups in different ways.
Oh, yeah,
And
through every relationship you have, it'll show
yeah,
up
even
in one way or
friendship.
another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Friendships, everything. And that you can feel that needy energy. And I know men definitely feel when a woman is
Oh
in that
yeah.
really needy energy, that will back him off in a red
Oh yeah.
hot second. Like, oh, no, thank you. Yeah, okay, it's been nice. I'll see you later. The exit stage right, but that's a really heavy energy, and that's the energy a
Yeah.
lot of us are bringing forward. Just it's been with us through so many
Mm,
generations. So to recognize it is the first step when you can
it is.
say, and again, there's no shame in it. We've all
Well,
been
no.
through it. We all have it. It's the first step is saying, okay, yep, I do that. Okay, now I got to heal that, find where it came from, just heal it and get into now the healed feminine energy,
Yeah. So how
which is
does it look like?
the first thing, which I know a lot of us aren't, is confident in our bodies,
Hmm.
which is obviously a huge foundation, because if you don't feel confident in your own body, then you're going to slip back into the needs and the wounding, right? Because
Yeah.
that's been wounded throughout the image, the feminine image. So she's the healed feminine is vulnerable. She's compassionate. She's
Mm.
intuitive. She's nurturing. She's strong and has strong boundaries. Big
Mm.
one. Um, and she asks for what she needs. So there we go back to, like, when you're the mom and you need time for yourself, there's no shame in asking for that. That
Yeah.
shame has been built in by society, religion, culture, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no shame in saying I need a little help. And she's just enjoying that process of creative. It's the whole creative, intuitive, compassionate, nurturing, self-confident female
Mm.
that we all want to be, right?
She's sleeping. She's sleeping
She's
inside of us.
sleeping when she needs to sleep. She's handing off that baby when she wants to do something for herself without feeling even that much guilt about it. And that
Yeah.
guilt is an energy too. You think, like, that gets passed on to the baby as well. If you're sitting there in that guilt state,
Yes.
all these
Yes.
energies get
It's
passed
like when you're in that wounded feminine like that, you're just like, I don't know. It's like the transgenerational traumas are just like passed on, you know? And the minute we step on and step up and just like realize this is what I'm doing. And then just the fact that you've realized it, it's
on. Yeah,
just so empowering because you can just like observe and then be like, all right, so like this isn't working. I can see it. I saw my mother do it. I saw my
yeah,
grandmother do it. I
yeah.
see my aunt, my sisters, or whatever, you know, I see my lineage. They're all doing it. And then you just like step out of that narrative and just step into something new,
Yeah.
you know.
Be the chain breaker, as they say. And it
Yes.
can be difficult, because of course you do have all these other feminines around you who've come through and stayed with that wounded energy. So they're looking at you like, well, who do you think you are? Like, why are
Yes.
you so special? But
Right.
it's that's the healing. And I mean, people do recognize it. Once they see you do it, you become the sort of representative of what they can be. And then they're like, well, hey, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And that's where the chain is going to start flowing, so that the feminine energy can get balanced and get
Yeah.
out of the wounded state, because it's hard and heavy and it's been there a long time. So us chain breakers, of course, we look like the black sheep. They're like, she's so selfish, she just wants to take care of herself. Like, no, I'm self-ish. Like, I want to take care of myself. That
Yeah.
is actually my main purpose here, is to take care of myself and then
Yeah.
give to the others around me. But I got to take care of me first. So,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's getting into that. Yeah, you're into that healed energy. You're self-confident. You ask for what you want. tell people what you need without being needy. You
Yeah.
know, it's that side of the coin. They're like complete opposites of one another.
Yeah, you're able to receive as well. I can like,
Yes.
because I can relate to that. When I had like my first pregnancy, this healed feminine somehow happened to me. I don't know how. I can't explain it, but
Yeah.
somehow it happened, right?
Good.
And I still like, I'm like, did that happen? Yes, it happened. Okay. But when it happened, it was like so weird for me because I was never in that energy, but to be that strong, because when I got my first pregnancy, when I first got pregnant, like I was in California, so which is not my country. I was also without any shelter. I was living in my car because
Oh,
I was traveling. I
yeah.
was traveling. It was like I just went for a year, traveled down south, the US, and it was so fun. And I met
Yeah.
this man, and I just like became pregnant, right? So
It just
that was
happened. I don't
it.
know
Just
how.
happened. It was in the plan, right? And I was like, well, should I get an abortion? And everybody was like, yes, you should and you must. And I was like, you know what? There's something inside of me saying I shouldn't. And then I just decided to listen to that voice out,
Yes.
like no matter how crazy it was. And everybody around me was like, oh my god, are you crazy? Like you have nothing, you cannot raise this kid, you're
Yeah.
so unstable, you're so like you're just traveling like in your car, like what the fuck, like who
What
the
are you
fuck you
doing?
think, what are you doing, you're gonna screw that person up for sure. And I was like, you know what, I cannot know that I won't, and I know that I have to. Like I just know it. And the way that I was like handling those people, it was like, thank you so much
Yeah.
for your concern. And also I'm still gonna do that because this is what my heart say, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
and it was so strong. And the whole pregnancy was I was so strong, but not strong in the way that I used to know, which is like the way like you put your armor up because you feel like you need to protect yourself and you're
Yeah.
rough, and but somehow I was like strong in a soft way. And so I feel like this is what it is. This is the
Yes.
healed feminine energy, which is like I was acting out of intuition. I never read any book. I never asked any advice for anyone. I was like from my intuition all
Yeah.
the time. I knew what to eat. I know what to do. When I gave birth, I knew what to do. It's just like I was like, doctor, just get out, okay?
Yeah.
You're not
I can
helping me
handle
right now.
this.
I
Okay.
can do this, right? It was like I was surrounded by my women. Like I had like my best friends, they were there. My the mother of one of my best friend, because my mother passed, and so I was surrounded by those women that I
Yeah.
just like, I was able to receive their presence. It was just so natural,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I
And
feel like this is what it is. This is that healed feminine that just
absolutely.
knows and
There's
able
a
to receive.
there's a knowing. There is a definite knowing, and the intuition is strong. And
So
the
strong.
healed feminine listens to it because
Mm.
that is your inner divine self giving you direction. It has the wisdom. It has all you need to know. So tapping into it, like you said, when this intuition started coming in, that was your first shift into when you start listening to it and telling people, you know what, thanks for your advice, but I think I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
that's the healed feminine. That's like, you know what, I got this. I know what I need. I appreciate your input, but I'm doing it my way because it's my body and this is me. So thank you. But no,
And yeah, and this is my intuition, and you just don't spit on it.
no,
You
no.
listen to it. It's so
Usually,
precious.
usually
Like
doesn't go well when you do.
exactly, that's the wounded feminine that is
Yeah.
like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. Oh no, this is too dangerous, I'm not gonna do it. And
Yeah,
then
or
you
takes other people's input over her own. Like, why would
yeah,
you not value you? You know you better than anybody else. So
yeah.
yes, listen to your intuition.
Yeah, that was like the best. I remember I was in BC and I was pregnant, and I was working at that restaurant, and there was like this Native American um woman that was there, and she looked at me right in my eyes, and she told me, the best advice I'm going to give you is to never listen to anybody else's advice. Oh, this is your
Absolutely.
kid. you know what to do. If you need advice, you're going to ask for them. But if they're giving it to you, you're not listening.
No,
It's just like you keep on tuning into your own intuition, because then
100.
you encounter doubt,
Yeah.
shame, because you're like, oh shit, I'm not doing it right. They're saying that I shouldn't feed my kid like that, or I shouldn't do this with my
Oh,
kid, or I shouldn't talk to them.
yeah.
It's like, thank
You
you,
know
but
best.
no thank you.
Yeah. You and your child know best. You're connected. And so you
Yeah.
know what the child needs. The child feels that's another reason why you need to like get your energy right, because the child's feeding into you too and is watching you eventually once they can. They're seeing you without seeing you because they're seeing your energy first.
Yeah.
And if you're in that energy, that's transference to them as well.
Yeah.
And as I'm saying it, I'm going, oh God, I can hear a bunch of women out there, new moms, stepping into their guilt again as I'm saying that. Right? No, there's no guilt, no shame, no judgment, just learning. This is all it is. This is what we're supposed to be doing as a community to support each other.
Yeah.
And getting, that's how we will heal this wounded feminine energy, is allowing women to ask for what they need. This is what I need right now. Can you help me with that? Absolutely. And not to be afraid to ask for it. And that's the healed feminine, to say, all right, this is me. This is what I need right now.
Yeah.
There's no underpinning of guilt or shame or anything. Just this is what it is.
Yeah. And
But
to
that
be able to ask is one thing, and to be able to receive
then
is like,
receiving it. Yeah.
yes. Because,
Without
yeah.
without the feeling of needing to give back again because you
Yes,
just
yes, yes.
received. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
that's that healed energy that, yes, you're open, you're receiving, you're compassionate, you're intuitive. These are all parts of being the healed feminine. And it's such a beautiful state when you step into it. It took me a long time to get there. And there's still things that I struggle with,
Well,
but it's
yes.
a constant learning process. So it doesn't just happen overnight, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and it's so ingrained through us, as we were saying
Mhm.
before, through all the generations,
Well, yeah.
that you will get
Yeah.
triggered because there is going to be somebody in your family who will see you saying, hey, you know what? I need a day off. I'm going to take Thursday off and go spend time out at the salon. Then I'm going to go for lunch with the girls. And then I'm going to go hang out at the gym. And then you will have that person who's going to say, aren't you being selfish? Like, you've got children.
Yeah.
They need a mom. So I got to take care of me. Simple as that.
It is so simple. It's like going to the ATM trying to get money and there's nothing in there, If there's nobody to come and put the money in there, like, you will never have the money, whether like you have your card or not, So you have to get somebody to take the money and put it in the freaking
Yeah.
ATM, right?
Which is
It's
you.
like,
Fill your own ATM, people. Yeah, right.
exactly. Yeah. It's like, you can ask for, like you said, like if you have like a partner or friends or your mother or anyone, to just like ask them for a day or an hour, even just an hour. Sometimes it's enough, you
Right.
just need
It
that.
doesn't have to be huge. It really doesn't have to be huge. A lot of people think that, you're asking for the moon and the stars. And no, sometimes it is. It's, geez, just a bath without someone banging on the door,
Yeah.
can be so healing. But
Yeah.
it's asking for what you want in the moment and just not listening to anybody outside. Again, listening to yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
really where you've got to get to, is tapping into that inner wisdom, tapping into your
Exactly.
intuition, and just that's the place you live from.
Yeah. Yeah, we need that so much, and I know that a lot of women are struggling with that self-care and taking that moment every day, because we do need it every day, even if it's
Every
like,
day.
yeah, even if it's 30 minutes, it doesn't matter, like, to do whatever you want to do, to whether doodle something or just like dance or
Some,
listen to some music just by yourself,
yeah,
or I
yeah,
don't know, to watch your favorite TV show that day, or to just like, I don't know, like whatever it is,
yeah,
go in the spa, like you have like a sauna in the back and you never use it because you're so busy. Just take 30 minutes and
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
nobody's gonna die.
Nobody's, that's
Nobody's
usually
gonna die. It's
that's
gonna
the
be okay.
stipulation. If you're not bleeding or nobody's dead, don't knock on the door. Right? Like,
Yeah.
let me be, let me have my time. And
Yeah,
it's hugely imperative. And, um, I'd love to see more of it out there in society, as far as even
that's for sure.
facilities that are set up where the women can go, I just need a freaking break right now. And
Right.
at that point, here's my child. I'm
Yeah.
going to go over there.
Yeah. Yeah, like a retreat center where mama can come and leave their kids at the front desk and they're well taken care of because you
Yeah.
got like some amazing people to take care of their kids so that they can just like go enjoy, I don't know, like massage or, just a walk in
Yeah.
nature or, whatever.
Something. And
Something.
this is all part of the healing. It sounds like it's, you're being selfish, for a better word. I don't even like that word, but it just makes it, to get that stigma off of there and just be like, this is what I need right now. And I'm going to take care of me so I can take care of my family, my children, my husband, like all the people that are in my life. I'm taking care of me first. And then
Yeah.
I'll give to everybody else. And that's the
Yeah.
mindset we need to be in.
And the second part of what you just said is so important because that's where we get stuck in, we're egotistical because we feel like we're just gonna take and then that's it, and then
Yeah.
but when we feel ourselves, instead of thinking that we take something, so we feel ourselves so we can serve, because that's what we're here for. We're
Yeah.
here to serve, and so we cannot serve anyone and anything if we're not filled.
No, if we're not, yeah, when you're empty, you're empty. That's all there is to it. And then your body will eventually make you take that rest,
Yes.
one way or another. You will
And
end up,
it's less fun.
and that's not the fun kind of rest. No, that's not the fill you up kind of the fun. That's the, hey, we'll let you live for a little longer kind of fun, right? But it is really just, and that's the thing in a lot of mindset is, which is a huge part of it too, is your mindset. Just think about everything you do in a day for everybody else. So receiving, and then thinking you need to give back. How much are you
Mm,
already giving? Like, you're receiving, just receive it, take it, and you're good, because you are giving all day long. And it's not just to family, it's to, if you're working, you're giving at work. If you're, with your friends, you're giving with your friends. It's a whole, just receive and be good with the fact that no one's taking score of how many things you've received that you're going to
right?
now have to pay back. No, just receive it. It's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift. You're a gift. So just, it's all good. Everything's balanced, right? The check marks are on both sides. You're good.
That is so cool. And
Yeah.
we wanted to talk about the divine feminine
Yeah.
as well, because it's a whole other level of
That's
feminine
next
energy.
level. That's the totally healed feminine in her truest, purest state. That's the goddess, sensual goddess warrior. That's like, this is the
Mm,
full divine feminine in all her powers, in all her authenticity. So, I mean, to give you a list, I'll give you a little list here of the
yes.
the divine feminine energy. Expresses herself fully and authentically.
Hmm.
Her intuition and her feelings are her compass. This is what we discussed before.
Hmm.
She channels her divine creative energy, operates with effortless flow and ease. And that's a huge part of it, is being in that flow and ease, just allowing, surrendering, and allowing. Carries healing and nurturing frequencies. Yes, they are, because once you get into that energy state, you are emitting a whole totally different frequency.
Mm.
And then she has the power, once she's in that state, to awaken the divine masculine into his higher state of consciousness. So that you're talking about a powerful woman, a powerful,
Yes.
doesn't have to be a woman, but we're talking about women today, so I'll leave it there. So
Yeah.
this is so taking all those healed feminine quantities to that next level. where you're at your actual divine state, where we're all meant to be. But because of what this world has been through, we're not quite there yet. There are a lot of divine feminines out there. I always call it the goddess state, because that
Yeah.
really is. And when people say, "Oh, you think you're a goddess?" I'm like, "No, I know I'm a goddess." And yes, because we're not talking about the goddesses of, we're talking about the divine feminine, which has the masculine in her, and she encompasses all of it. She carries all of it forward. And that's when you get into that really juicy stuff, because that's when I'm sorry, you take no shit. You take no shit. You say what you want. You say what you need. You don't have any, not that you're doing it in a malicious way. Of course, you're very compassionate and nurturing. It's that encompassment of that ultimate nurturing, sensual, loving, intuitive, magical, mystical. That's the goddess power. That's the power we all want to be. And when you're around a woman who's like that, she's attracting everybody to her just because of that, and that frequency she's giving off. It's juicy. It's just like you just want to be like, can I just have some of that, please? You walk in the room and everybody's like, whoa, what is that? And it's not an appearance thing at all. It's an energy thing. I posted a picture on one of my Facebook pages. I think it was one of my goddess pages of, I don't know if you've seen it. There's this image that was going around of what Aphrodite, an artist had carved her body. So of course, in our mind, we're thinking of Aphrodite. This is the goddess of love. She's sexy, she's hot, she's got to have a smoking hot body. No. This was like, I was going to say like the body of a 60-year-old. So that would be my body. Like the boobs are drooping down to here. She's got the tire around the center. She's got the very thick thighs. Big. This is not the image, but because this has been programmed into us as what the woman is supposed to be. That's, a goddess is that over there. When in reality, no. And it has nothing to do with your appearance. And you can, ask men. Yes, obviously there has to be some attraction there, but that juicy, hot goddess energy, they'll take that over a hot body and face.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
100 times. So we as women have to get out of our heads about that and wrap around the fact that it's not the way you look. It's the way you are in the world, the way you are presenting yourself in the world, and the way you act in the world. If you're in that needy, wounded, overgiving, oversharing, just, but you're hot, you're probably going to be alone for a while until you heal some of that, because that needy energy, it's just so thick. You can feel it. I mean, I'm sure you've been around it and you recognize it. I mean, I radiated that for a long time. When I was younger, I was definitely in that state. When you can turn around and look back at it and go, oh, like because you could feel it dripping off of you and how it affects the people around you.
It's like those mean girls in high school, they're so beautiful. They're statuesque, right? They're so beautiful, but they're so mean. They're so mean. So they got the body, they got like the haircut or whatever, the makeup, they figured out like the style and whatever, how to like put themselves out in the world. But when you go into that intimate level with them, there's nothing. There's just nothing. It's like empty.
And that description you just gave falls into that sort of manipulative side of the wounded female, where she's manipulating her exterior world by manipulating her appearance to fit into that. Just so people will notice her and will love her. Is it going to be a true love? Maybe a short love, but And that's a blanket statement about beautiful women, because that's not the thing. There are a
That's
lot of,
not all of them. That's not
oh yeah,
completely true.
no, that's
That's not,
that's just the
but
mean girls.
yes, those that are like so beautiful, but when you talk to them, you see there is nothing, or they're just like gossiping all the time, or it's just like that's the wounded again,
Yeah,
showing up, knocking up, it's like it's just like, yeah, it's so
yeah,
so so different than the divine one, which is like owning so much, all of it. She's
yeah.
owning
She's
all of it.
all of it. She's been through the wounded stage.
Well, yeah,
She's gone into the healed stage, and then she's next leveled, and she's like, okay, I'm done with that now. That was an old life, an old person that doesn't exist anymore.
yeah,
This is my goddess state. I ask
yeah,
for what I want, and I'm in my authentic power. That's just the way, and that's really the way we're meant to be,
yeah,
in a joyful, blissful, authentic state that's tapped into the universe, that's listening to their intuition, that's going with the flow, surrendering, compassion, like just all those energies. That's
yeah,
that's that is that divine feminine state, that where we'd all love to be, right? So
yeah,
that's healing the past wounds, recognizing them first. Even recognizing that you're doing that stuff, sometimes people don't want to admit that they're doing it.
yeah,
You can't heal it if you can't admit it. See it and then admit it. And then just be like, okay, well, that shit's going to stop right now. So, which also means people in your life who are used to you doing for them might start falling away. And you have to be okay with that, because you can't heal yourself and still be the person that they want you to be, which is the one that just gives and gives and gives and gives and gives. Because that's why they're around you,
yeah,
is because they're benefiting from your state.
yeah,
So yeah, you have to be there. There is a strength involved. There's an inner strength that you have to be okay with losing some people.
yeah, or transforming those relationship, because
I
some
was
of
just going
them
to say,
will stay. Yeah, some of them will stay, and you will have to create something new
a new,
together.
which is beautiful, because you usually end up in a much better relationship. The two of you are now benefiting from that.
Yeah,
But the first, that's that surrender side. You have to be with, like, okay, I am now going to heal myself, which means I'm probably going to lose some people around me, and I have to be okay with that. They usually end up coming back around anyways, once,
yeah,
because then when they see you've healed and they see the kind of life you're living, they want a piece of that. So then
exactly.
they'll usually show up to say, hey, what exactly did you do? Like, how do I do this? Right. And if they don't, they don't. It's okay. But yeah, the transformation of the relationships then becomes the best thing. But
Yes.
being willing to lose it and then work on yourself, and then perhaps now work on that relationship afterwards.
Yeah,
But
together.
this is where it starts, right here.
Yeah,
So
right here.
recognizing it, healing it, and then and it takes, just like I said, it's not a one and done. Like, stuff will still trigger you, and then you have to
Yeah.
be like, oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, I thought I got rid of that. Nope, there it is again. Here we go again. I'm gonna have to heal that. And that the big one is saying no. As women,
Yes,
we tend to take on more, bite off more than we can chew.
that's
And
for
that
sure.
steps into that wounded side again, of thinking that if you don't do it, they're not going to love you anymore, or
Yeah.
whatever. You have to be okay with saying no and meaning it, not saying no and then backing out and saying, oh, all right, I'll do it for you. No, no
Yeah.
is no. This is
Yeah.
where the line is. Here's my boundary. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
not going to work for me. I love you, but
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't. And of course, how you say it is a lot of it too. She's like,
Well,
no.
yeah.
What,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
what,
exactly.
what,
It has
what
to
is
come
that?
from the loving space,
Yeah,
like your
everything.
self-love space, You're so in love with yourself that
Yeah,
this is not entering. This is just not entering. It's just
yeah,
not happening.
yeah. And that again, that'll come from the healed side, that you can say no, and come from, well, everything should be coming from love anyways. We all
Well,
need to
yeah.
work on that loving side, but being able to say no and mean it, but do it in a compassionate way. Because when people have turned you down and they've been just flat out rude, you're just like, wow. All you had to say was no, right? Or when people
Yeah.
come at you from that place of compassion, they're like, I'm so sorry. I love you, but I can't. I hope you
Yeah.
find somebody else who can help you with that. Then they feel the compassion too. And they're like, you know what? That's okay. I will find somebody else.
Yeah.
We're good. But that's the healed side though, because if you say no and they're like, but you helped me before, why aren't you helping me now? Do you not like me anymore? Do you not love me? Do you hate? And then you start getting into, especially as I'm an empath, so that's just like, whoa, no, I didn't mean that. But that's the healed side, is when you're just like, sorry, I love you, but I can't. And
Yeah.
we're either going to accept it or they're not, but that's not on you. That's on them.
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
the healed side as well, getting to that
Yeah.
stage.
It's like when you get to that healed side, and then you just like keep on growing into that healed side, you get to reach the divine side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you come through it. And like I said, there's still going to be times when you're going to slip back. There's going to be something when you're truly healed. Then,
Oh yeah.
but no, I don't. Like, does that exist? I don't know. I think
I don't know. That's the question. That's the question. That's the
you'd have to
question. But like
almost,
just enjoying those moments where we can actually tap into something different,
yeah,
something bigger, something like more beautiful, it's just
yeah.
like to enjoy those little moments. It's just, that's the
It's
first step.
and that's the fun part as you're going through the healing process, which doesn't sound like a lot of fun, and sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's
Um,
not.
Sometimes it's not. The other side is really fun. But when you start recognizing, like really recognizing your stuff, as
Yeah.
soon as it comes up, you're like, oof, ouch, wow, am I still there? Okay, thank you. Now,
Yeah.
now I'm just gonna take a note of that one. Okay, I'm gonna go work on that a little bit more because apparently I'm still an overgiver. All right.
In those it's like for me when I get back to those states, it's like I might have been an overgiver with my family or with my kids, and then I kind of like I heal that, and so I'm good.
Yeah,
And then something else will come up, and so I start to overgive to that other part of my life, and it's like, oh well, all right, so it's just like slipped into another realm. and
yeah,
it's the same energy, but I'm
yeah,
just like, you think it's ill because you're not doing it with them, but
yeah,
then you start to do it with other things or other people, and you're like, all
yeah,
right, just like
yeah.
it rings up, it's like, all right, let's do it again.
Still there. Okay, I guess I got to heal this. And that's another, for women in the workplace too. That's a big one. Is that you almost feel like you're having to prove yourself against your
Mm.
counterparts,
Hmm.
and that whole programming that if you say no, then where's your worth, right? Come that whole self-worth thing.
Yeah.
And am I going to lose my job if I say no to this extra
Yes.
work? Am I going to lose my job, be replaced, get a demotion, like all
Mhm.
the things that go through your head? And that's, again, being able to say no in the loving, compassionate way and just be like, I was hired for a certain job, and that's the job that I'm doing. This doesn't really fall under my frame of work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to respectfully decline to take that on. Otherwise, I won't be able to get my actual work done.
Yeah. And if you want me to do that thing, like we can talk salary.
Yeah, we can talk salary. We can, yeah, we
You
can
think
talk.
we can talk schedule? We can
We can,
talk like, like why
yeah,
not? I mean, like you follow, like I feel like when you're in that healed slash divine feminine, it's like you follow where your where your creativity just like leads you, right? And
yeah,
so if you like in instance in that example that you're giving, if you would prefer to do what they're asking but it's not part of your job and you don't want to overwork yourself, then you can create something with them.
yeah,
Like, it's always about creativity, it's
yeah,
always
yeah,
about that. And when you're in those feminine healed or divine side of it, it's like you tap into those things so quickly, and then you're like, all right, so I'm just going to create something better. I'm
Yeah.
just going to create something else with it, or I'm
Yeah,
just,
absolutely. Absolutely. And just because you do eventually take on the work, then you don't want to start getting into that mindset of, oh, I gave in. No, you didn't.
yeah, yeah,
If you're honestly going with your instinct and your intuition and saying, you know what, I wouldn't mind doing that, but that's not part of my job. So I should get paid a little extra for it. So I'll do it, but on my terms. And that's the key, on your terms. You're not just like, okay, yeah, I'll do, okay, sure. And then you got this stack of papers in front of you and you can't even get to what you were supposed to do in the day because
yeah,
you've taken on extra work. That's the
exactly.
big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about the dark feminine, and I'm so curious about that. So I
Oh,
would love
yes.
to just
Oh,
like,
she's another creature, that one. So she's like the divine feminine on steroids. Like, but she's embracing. There's a lot of like misnomers about the dark, because when you say the word dark, a lot of
Mm,
preset connotations and inventions come into your head about what that's going to look um like a toxic almost feminine, which is far from the truth. The dark feminine is going to challenge you because she doesn't put up with shit. She doesn't put, I mean, the divine feminine doesn't either, but she comes from a more compassionate side. The dark feminine is the boss bitch. She's fully in control. She's got a, like, she's more, and I don't want to use the word aggressive because that brings connotations to mind too,
mhm,
but she is not going to let you get away with anything. She's very sensual. It's a very sensual, passionate,
mm.
sexual kind of driven energy, and she will call you out on your shit. There's just no way around it. Because she's not going to put up with it. She's healed, and we all actually have this side. I mean, I know I can identify with a lot of it.
Mhm.
Um, but it's good to have, you need the light and the dark, you need the balance as well, especially even in the divine feminine goddess state. You need that balance. You need the warrior side of you to come forward when she needs to. That's
Yeah.
going to be there to protect you, right? I'll give you a little rundown of what her qualities are. um, she has deep connection, deep devotion, desire, passion, rage, which sounds like a negative thing, but it's not. She has her own self-sourced power, sensuality and pleasure, transformation, because she transforms everybody around her. Internal safety, she's totally secure in herself. Fearlessness, sexual liberation, which a lot of the feminines need.
Mhm.
She devours. Now, doesn't that sound like a strong word? She devours. Regeneration, sisterhood. She is fierce for the women in her life too. Authenticity, wholeness, and then there's one that I don't like so much, which is death and decay. But that's all about that rebirth, regenerate. You let things
Yeah,
just
yeah.
die. Just let them die around you. Let's go. I want to recreate. I want to regenerate. It's like a no bullshit stance. Pardon my French, but that's the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It's like
It's like,
do you know Kali? The goddess, Indian
yes, yeah,
goddess Kali, like
yeah,
it feels like her, like
yeah.
she's so strong, so raw. She's like, "Rah!" She's got like the tongue hanging out, she's kind of scary. But when you read into it, like she's so nurturing.
Yeah, well,
She's
that's just it.
so nurturing. She's protective. She's so fierce that it's almost scary.
Yeah, because like I said, she's just not going to put up with anything that isn't coming from a place of love, coming from that compassionate state.
Hmm.
She's going to call you out on your shit, and they're the ones that really heal the masculine side.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and we're gonna have you another time to talk
Yeah,
about the masculine side because it's so interesting, and we have both of those inside
in
of us.
us. Yeah,
And when you talk about the dark feminine like that, I feel this masculine energy, but it's not like the wounded masculine; it's the healed one.
yeah,
It's so powerful.
yeah.
And it's like I don't know if we can really like embody that all the time, but it's fun to
Yeah.
tap into it sometimes when you need it,
Yeah.
when you do need it,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
it's so useful actually.
It is. Comes in handy in many situations.
Right? It's like I know those moments where I am not taking any shit and I'm so strong and I'm like I'm not gonna binge. Like there's nothing that's gonna make me move from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not like in a way that I'm hard headed and I
No.
don't like it's not because I'm closed mind and I want to do my thing. It's not like that. It's just like when you have to do this and you take no shit and because this is your goal, this is where you're going,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the masculine energy when you have to go somewhere, you feel you have to go somewhere and you have to do you do everything in your
You
power
do. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
achieve, yeah, and so that's I just love the way you described it. It's so cool.
She's so, it is. And, as the divine feminine, well, as feminines, we have all those, that song, I'm Every Woman, keeps coming into my head because that is
Right.
truly it, right? You got to tap into what you need to tap into in any given
Mm,
situation that you're in. It's not, you're not always going to be this one way. That's why you have all these energies, and recognizing them, keeping them at a balanced state is balanced. You're never going to be 100% balanced, but keeping them in
yeah.
and tapping into what you need to tap into, the
Yeah.
nurturing side, or the, you know what, no, this is the way we're doing it. I call the shots here. And it's not coming from a stubborn, strong-headed, no, it's like, this is my inner knowing and this is the way we're doing it. So ride with me or don't.
Right.
There's the door, right? So, but that whole, I think I had a description of what so she adds that additional, the sensual boss bitch nugget into that divine warrior goddess state.
Hmm.
And that warrior's got your back. She's at your back. Can you imagine a room full of these divine goddesses
Oh yeah. I
just
can
like,
see
woo!
them. They're just like drinking tea together. It's like they're so cool. They're just like in a lounge or something. They're just
It's
like
just hanging out.
chilling. Oh, it's my turn to come. Sorry, girls. I'll be back.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
And again, that comes back to the feminines, sort of community supporting each other. It's
yeah.
such a beautiful thing when it happens. And I know I've seen it so many times around me. It's like, oh, when you see that group of women and they're there and they're in their authentic power and they're supporting and loving each other,
Yeah, we
not
love
taking
that.
shit from anybody. They're just like,
Yes.
it's like, oh, there's, those are my people. Like,
Yeah, right.
just
It
want to
feels
hang.
so good. It feels so good to have that, just like be able to count on other women.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, it is so, so precious and crucial.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like you said, that was so, so, so interesting,
Lots
crucial.
of information there. Yeah. It's
Yeah, and I hope people are gonna enjoy that and relate to that because yeah, I think we
just,
do need to understand that and to be able to see like where we're in those wounded space
yeah.
still so that we can actually move forward. So
Because it's totally not serving us to be in that space, and it's
yeah,
not serving anybody around us. If you're a mom, then with the family too. So
yeah.
please, ladies, please, self-care, and don't feel guilty about it, and don't listen to anybody around you who might be, because
Yeah.
it's about you and refilling your cup so that you can heal and get into the divine energy that you actually want to be in. So love all
Exactly.
my goddesses out there. I love them.
Yeah, same. And so where people can reach out to you.
Yeah, I do have my healing website, which is Spirit You Well. It sounds like
Mm,
spiritual when you say it fast, but it's spirityouwell.com or spirityouwellhealing.com. And I do have my Saspirational Facebook page as well. And I do have the business number. If people want to just reach out to me, is 250-686-4585. And they can call me and talk about whatever they want consultations or if they want any healing or whatever, guidance, coaching, I do all that there. That's probably
Amazing.
the best number to reach me at. And
Amazing.
the spiritualhealing.com is where they can set up appointments and whatnot. So
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah,
I'm going to link that below in the
yeah,
description so that people can reach out to you. And
great.
thank you. Thank you so much
Oh my
for
God, such a
for
pleasure to always be here. Love to see you guys. See you all again soon, I hope. When we dig into that divine masculine as well.
Yes, we sure will.
Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate that you're here with me. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share this episode with people you think might benefit from it. If you need support with your lifestyle and well being, feel free to reach out to me. It will be my pleasure to help you with an Ayurvedic consultation. You can go to my website, marigolera.com, to book a session with me. Remember, in the wisdom of Ayurveda, self care is not a luxury, but a sacred responsibility and a journey of nurturing oneself to foster holistic well being. I wish you an amazing rest of your day. Much love to you, and I'll see you in the next episode.